Welcome to this explainer. Okay, so today we're diving into something I call the fall frenzy in August. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? It's that totally bizarre shared consumer experience we all go through every single year. Picture this. You step outside, the sun is absolutely blazing, you're sweating, it's literally the dead of summer, and then you walk into a store and bam, you're immediately hit with the warm, cinnamon-scented ghost of autumn. It's kind of like a culinary time warp, but somehow it's become our new normal. So we're going to examine this fast-forwarded seasonal shift by looking at a huge new release from a fast food giant. We'll break down exactly what Dairy Queen is bringing to the table, how the whole industry is shifting, and what this actually means for your late summer cravings. Let's jump in. So this brings up a really fascinating question. Why on earth is fall starting in August? I mean, by all traditional metrics, August is a summer month, pure summer. Yet, as we're seeing in the data and recent reporting from places like All Recipes, August is just getting completely steamrolled by this fall frenzy. It honestly feels like the second July wraps up, the retail and fast food worlds collectively decide, yep, summer's over, totally ignoring whatever the thermometer actually says. Autumn treats are rushing back into our lives earlier than ever this year. It's this wild race to be the very first to capture that cozy nostalgia, pushing those seasonal boundaries earlier and earlier and earlier. And because of that, we end up caught right in the middle of this hilarious tension. Think about it. In reality, we're dealing with sweltering sunny days, literally sweating through our t-shirts. But food brands, they're actively selling us the fantasy of cozy sweater weather. The juxtaposition is dramatic, and frankly, it's kind of funny. Fast food chains and grocery stores want us dreaming about crisp air and changing leaves, while we are still very much applying sunscreen and blasting the AC. It's a seriously aggressive marketing push that banks on our anticipation for the changing seasons. They're practically willing the autumn weather into existence using nothing but flavor profiles. Now, Dairy Queen is definitely not acting alone here. Just look at how this early fall frenzy is blowing up across the broader market. We've already got Little Debbie rolling out their returning fall lineup to grocery store shelves. Nestle Toll House, they're dropping their new fall cookie doughs. Even the beverage sector is getting in on the action, with Samuel Adams releasing their new fall-flavored beers. So the big takeaway here is that this pre-seasonal spirit isn't just some isolated incident. It's a massive, coordinated industry shift. And right now, we're seeing that grocery store frenzy take a hard left turn straight into the drive-thru. Which brings us to the absolute hero of this explainer. For their highly anticipated August Blizzard of the month, Dairy Queen just dropped a massive announcement. We're talking a brand new, never-before-seen flavor. Everyone say hello to the Caramel Apple Cheesecake Blizzard treat. Notice how they aren't just, gently dipping a toe into the fall aesthetic. Oh no, they are diving headfirst into the deep end of the autumn flavor pool. Right smack in the middle of summer, Dairy Queen is delivering a heavy hitter of a dessert that practically screams harvest season. Okay, let's slow things down for just a second and look at the anatomy of this treat, because the construction here is genuinely impressive. As the team at All Recipes pointed out, this is essentially 3 desserts packed into one single cup. Step 1, you've got real cheesecake pieces, giving you that dense, rich, tangy texture. Step 2, a generous swirl of caramel apple topping, bringing a sticky, sweet, and slightly tart seasonal bite. And finally, step 3, the whole shebang is perfectly blended together with Dairy Queen's legendary signature soft serve. You can practically taste the contrast between that freezing cold ice cream and those warm, decadent, cozy autumn flavor profiles. To really put this into perspective, All Recipes journalist Deanne Revel presented a mildly controversial but highly engaging hot take on this. She wrote, "I'm so glad to see apple, the true produce king of fall, in the spotlight over pumpkin." Now, that is a bold statement. For years, pumpkin spice has completely dominated the early fall narrative, right? It's been the undisputed heavyweight champion of autumn marketing. But this blizzard puts the spotlight right back on the apple, elevating it to the true produce king. Honestly, it breaks up that predictable pumpkin fatigue we usually hit by late August and offers this refreshing, fruit-forward alternative that still perfectly nails that cozy seasonal vibe. And Deanne follows that up with a fantastic rhetorical question. What flavor doesn't pair well with a cheesecake? What's really interesting here is her context. Historically, she admits she hasn't actually been the biggest fan of blizzards. But when you look at the sheer indulgence of this combination, this specific blend of real cheesecake chunks with caramel apple might just be the exact thing to change her mind. It really highlights the cleverness of Dairy Queen's recipe development. By anchoring the somewhat experimental caramel apple flavor with a universally beloved dessert like cheesecake, they've created the perfect gateway treat, even for the biggest skeptics.
But as we all know, in the world of fast food desserts, you've got to be quick. Culinary trends are ruthless. To make room for the Caramel Apple Cheesecake Blizzard, the World Cup-inspired menu from earlier this summer is officially gone. Just like that. A major global event tie-in gets completely swept away to make room for early autumn vibes. It's a pretty stark reminder of exactly how rapidly these chains pivot to keep our attention and to keep us rolling through the drive-thru. Which leads us to this singular, solitary number 1. As in 1 month. The absolute most crucial point you need to take away from this explainer is the urgency of this release. Blizzard flavors are notorious for coming and going at lightning speed, and this unique 3 desserts in 1 blend, it is only sticking around for the month of August. If you missed out on the World Cup menu because you waited a little too long, history is definitely bound to repeat itself here. The window to experience this specific culinary clash of summer heat and autumn flavor is incredibly narrow. So as we wrap up our analysis of this fascinating seasonal shift, I want to leave you with a question to ponder. Take a look at your own habits. Are you the type of person holding on tight to summer, refusing to let it go until the very last day of September? Or are you totally ready to embrace the early fall frenzy, diving headfirst into caramel, apple, and sweater weather in the middle of a sweltering August? Food trends are accelerating, blurring the lines of the calendar more and more every single year. The real question is our craving for the comfort of autumn actually making summer shorter? Definitely think about that the next time you hit the drive-thru. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning what's in your cup.